Hello everybody, this is WR Jockey here. I would like to ask the question to you, what is an adventure bike, and is the Honda CB500X an adventure bike? I'll give you my own thoughts on that, and then please give me your thoughts in the comments below. So what is an adventure bike? First of all, in my opinion, every single motorcycle is an adventure bike. Okay, you can have adventures on a Honda Monkey or a Honda Grom, as well as everything else. So that's my definition of an adventure bike, is any motorcycle, because you can have a great deal of fun on any bike, no matter what it is. To give you an example of that, when I was in high school, I had a Yamaha DT175 Enduro, and I went on long rides every Sunday with my friends. We rode all day long, off-road only, on some of the nastiest terrain you could imagine. Had the best adventures ever on a little 175 Enduro bike. So any bike can be an adventure bike. Now, whether it's manufacturers who have done this or not, turned the adventure bike, quote unquote, into a special marketing category, that's what's happened now. And so there's sort of a new subcategory of bikes, if you will, that are called adventure bikes. What does an adventure bike require, as the definition is given today? Well, they have to be capable of going on the highway naturally, and then they have to be somewhat capable off-road. Now, the caveat there is, the trick is, what is the definition of off-road for an adventure bike? So, a bike like this, the CB500X, I think it's good for light off-road use only, and I'm talking about like smooth dirt roads, not too much more than that, smooth trails. If you start getting into single track, really rough terrain or steep hills, because I specialized in hill climbing when I was younger on dirt bikes, let me tell you, you would never use this bike for that. So one big factor with an adventure bike is the weight, and the more rough the off-road riding is, the less weight you want to carry. Trust me on that, I know that from personal experience. Weight is your enemy off-road, if it's anything more than just easy off-road terrain. This bike right here, the CB500X, is about 439 pounds wet weight, and you would never take this bike on a steep hill off-road if you have any common sense, because it's just simply too heavy and just too large. You need a dirt bike for that, or a much lighter bike. Dual sport like the WR250R is perfect for that kind of thing. This one, not so much. Now, I would say, probably 90% or more of the people who go adventure bike riding are going to do light off-road terrain. So this bike would be good for that. Is it comfortable on the highway? Yes, I can attest to that. I've ridden it on the highway a little bit so far. Definitely a very comfortable bike. So is this an adventure bike? I think for most people out there, the answer is yes, it certainly would be. And I know there are videos of, popular YouTube personalities who have ridden this bike all over the world. So naturally, it can be a really good adventure bike. My thing is, what kind of off-road riding do you want to do with it? If it's going to be light off-road, sure, it can handle it no problem. And highway, of course, it can handle it very, very easily. Now, if you want to get into more serious off-road, this is not the bike I'd recommend. My personal ideal adventure bike, if I was going to get one for this, by the way, I didn't buy this as an adventure bike, I bought it as just a pure street bike. And that's how I'll be riding it. I won't take this off-road at all. I have my WR250 for that. But my ideal adventure bike, if I was going to buy one, would be something like the Honda CRF 450 RL with a more comfortable seat, because that has a big enough engine to be good on the highway, and yet it's super capable off-road. I mean, extremely capable off-road. And in a similar vein, I think if Yamaha were to make the WR250R, if they were to bump that up in displacement to, say, a 450, that would be a really good adventure bike too. Perfectly capable on the highway as well as off-road. My WR250, while it's capable off-road, it is not, it can be ridden on the highway, and I know people do that, but it's not super comfortable for long highway use, and it could have a bigger engine for the highway. It can do 60 miles an hour, sure, even 65. But you're not really going to have much passing power. And for the highway use, I would not really personally ride my WR on the highway very much at all. This bike is perfect for highway use, and that's actually the main reason I got it, because if I want to go for extended rides outside of town where I live, I wanted something more suited to the highway. That's why I got this bike. I didn't get it to be, riding off-road, and that's just my use. If you did, that's great, because this bike does have decent suspension travel. Whether the tires will be suitable or not, again, it depends on your individual planned use of the bike. But certainly can be ridden light off-road and very good for the highway. So, yeah. Is the CB500X an adventure bike? Obviously, many people would say yes, and I would agree. As I said before, every motorcycle is an adventure bike, and this one even meets the modern definition, as long as you just limit your off-road riding to light off-road terrain. But I love the bike. I only have about 100 miles on it so far. The weather here has been terrible in Western PA in recent weeks. I got this bike in early April, but very soon it'll be warming up, and I'll be putting many more miles on it, and I'll upload some more videos for you. So if you want to see those, please subscribe, like this video if you think it was useful. Thanks, and I will catch you later.